Part 14. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 131. All fans who follow King Fairy Lord, after seeing this Weibo post, moved their positions and went to the official WeChat account of Panchinj police station to check in. Yeshuier asked for follow-up, and the formation was so huge that Panchinj police officers seemed to have a knife hanging above their heads. With the urging of netizens, the police solved the case very quickly. Yakan people are not hardcore people. In the past, I just took advantage of the remoteness of the place and the victims had no way to seek help, so they were unscrupulous. But this time when they were caught at the police station, they were immediately frightened. Police officer Du and the others just used a few words to bluff them, but before they could make a big move, the villagers told them everything they knew. Especially insiders such as Wang Jizong, Wang Ping, and the village chief have revealed a lot of things. From their mouths, the police learned about Wang Chuanzong, the mastermind of human traffickers more than 10 years ago, his changed name, and his current address. Wang Chuanzong's current name is Xiang Tianhua, and his wife's name, Arkshan, has also changed her name to Yumena. They have changed their names for more than 10 years and have been living well. Left from the kill village, far away from the man-eating devil's cave, and left his past completely, as if those sins had never happened. They disguise themselves as personable businessmen and elegant ladies, using their superb acting skills to deceive the people around them. People who were familiar with them had no idea that these two people were human traffickers more than 10 years ago. Until this time, the police directly surrounded their home. Wang Chuanzong and Arkshan were arrested. The evidence was conclusive and irrefutable. After reviewing the evidence and death information of previous victims, the court gave the two men heavy sentences. As for other people in Yao village, they were also sentenced based on the facts of the crime. All the masterminds and accomplices involved in the case were arrested, and the once bustling Yao village suddenly turned into a deserted village with empty houses. The state is responsible for those children who are underage and sends them to special schools for teenagers to receive the baptism of correct three views, so that they can distinguish right from wrong, study hard from then on, and become useful people to society. This case had irrefutable evidence and did not require the police to spend much time in solving it. Therefore, it took less than a week from finalization to verdict. A week later, the Panchinj Police Department released a police briefing on Weibo, explaining the whole story of the incident. Netizens who were paying attention to this matter saw this and shouted how happy they were. Pretty. Such traffickers who have a long history of crimes should be severely punished. It's a pity that the death penalty is rare in our Dragon Kingdom. Otherwise, even if Wang Chuanzong died 100 times, it wouldn't be enough. Poor girls who are as beautiful as flowers, their whole lives are ruined like this. How many families are suffering from this? Death to all human traffickers. Thanks to King Fairy Lord, if it weren't for her, the police wouldn't have taken down Yao village so quickly. If you don't understand, just ask, who is the immortal King Zhu? Is that the netizen upstairs who came in by mistake? It is recommended that you go to the Dolphin live broadcasting platform and search the live broadcast room of King Fairy Lord. She will broadcast live broadcasts from time to time. Every time she starts the broadcast, there will be a big case. In this way, Pei Enzu's live broadcast room once again expanded its popularity in another way. At this moment, she was still in her own house in Baiki Lake community, holding the jade bracelet given by the old lady of the Feng family, meditating and absorbing the spiritual energy. On this trip to Yao village, it was inconvenient to carry a backpack and tools, so she used her own stored spiritual energy to draw talismans and set up formations, which consumed a lot of energy and had to be replenished quickly. Suddenly, she felt a refreshing force pouring into her body. This power penetrated from the top of her head and instantly spread to her internal organs, limbs, and bones. After running for 2 days, it merged into her danshan. It is the merit bestowed by heaven. Presumably the abduction case was over, and the female ghosts on the mountain behind the Yao village had also been brought into the underworld by Yinchi. The matter was resolved satisfactorily, so she gained merit. Pei Enzu's lips curved into a faint smile. For her, there can never be too much merit. At this moment, her cell phone rang, and it was Officer Du. "Hello, Officer Du," she answered immediately. "Kingzu Immortal Lord, I came to you this time for two things," Officer Du said. "The first thing is that you assisted the police in solving such a big trafficking case. The superiors have decided to give you a reward, including a large amount of money bonuses, as well as medals symbolizing meritorious service. When do you think you have time? Come to the police station and we will hold an award ceremony for you. This is also the meaning of the above. Whether it's bonuses or honors, they must be given in full." Pei Enzu paused. She understood that this was a gesture of goodwill from the state, and if she wanted to continue practicing in this world, she would have to deal with the officials in the future. So, faced with the olive branch offered by the country, she chose to accept it, and the advantages outweighed the disadvantages. After all, this is not a world of cultivation where the strong are respected, nor is it a loose alliance where major sects dominate the mountain and rule their own affairs, but a powerful, unified country with laws as its basic weapons. Thinking of this, Pei Enzu agreed. "I'm available at any time. Officer Du, just tell me a time and I'll be there on time." "Sure," Officer Du's voice became excited. "It's better to choose a different day than to hit the sun, so let's do it tomorrow. We are waiting for your arrival at the Yunchinj police station." "Okay," Pei Enzu agreed, and then thought that Officer Du had said two things just now, and asked again, "Then what is the second thing you said?" Hearing this, Officer Du sighed and explained. "It's the families of the victims, they want to see you. This kidnapping case started fermenting in your live broadcast room, and they also went to make up the cause and effect, knowing that you have the ability to communicate yin and yang. So, they want to see their daughter, even if it's just a ghost. The police station notified them to claim the body, but they refused to leave after claiming it. They still come to the police station every day to plead, but we can't just agree to it. Look at this." Pei Enzu was silent for a long time before he spoke. Those victims, at the moment Wang Chuanzong was arrested and convicted, had already gone to the underworld and did not stay in the human world, so they could not be seen. And it's impossible for me to go see them. I wear a mask during live broadcasts because I don't want my true face to be seen by too many people. Police Officer Du also understood Pei Enzu's dilemma and said, "Then it's up to the police to come forward and refuse them." However, soft-heartedness prevailed in the end. Pei Enzu thought about it and finally proposed a solution. "Let's do this. When I come to the police station tomorrow, I will bring them some talismans. Please give them to them then. As long as they put the talismans under their pillows and sleep, their daughters will be able to sleep. This is a dream talisman, which allows the ghosts in the underworld to feel the longing of their relatives in the underworld, so that they can meet their relatives in dreams. But because this kind of talisman needs to break the passage between yin and yang, it consumes a lot of spiritual energy, so Pei Enzu never draws it, let alone drawing it in large quantities this time. However, good people do it to the end. Since you have chosen to help them, let's fulfill your last wish for them." Presumably the greatest wish of those girls whose souls have returned to the mountains before they die is not only to seek revenge, but also to see their loved ones again, right? The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 132. Chapter 132. Leave it to the juniors. The next morning, Pei Enzu came to the police station as scheduled. Officer Du personally picked her up outside and took her through the side door, avoiding the group of family members of the victims blocking the gate, and went directly into the police station. Subsequently, a commendation ceremony was held in a small conference room. The person who presented the award was the chief of the Yunchinj Police Department. He was a middle-aged man in his 50s. He looked upright, with clear eyes. The dazzling golden light of merit and virtue on his body was intertwined with the black and red aura of blood evil. The golden light of merit is due to his achievements in eradicating violence, punishing and eradicating evil in the past decades. The evil spirit of blood was the result of his killing criminals in the past. But if you look closely, you can see that the golden light of merit is far better than the aura of blood evil. Over time, the golden light of merit will completely wipe out the aura of blood evil on his body. Let him come clean and leave cleanly, with only merits and virtues. The director personally presented awards and medals to Pei Anzu, and then took Officer Du with him, and the three of them took a group photo. The banner above the head reads, "To celebrate the significant contribution made by the enthusiastic citizen MS Pei in the X incident, we are specially awarded X level of merit." Subsequently, the director said many words of encouragement based on the above meaning, and sincerely hoped that there would be more opportunities for police and citizens to cooperate in the future. Pei Anzu accepted the commendation very calmly, received another 500,000 bonus, and finally said to the director solemnly, "Please rest assured that we practitioners should always remember to protect the common people as our own responsibility, and we will never commit crimes, mess up the cause and effect, or corrupt the Taoist mind." With these words, the director smiled and nodded. Before leaving, Pei Anzu handed the dream charm he drew overnight to Officer Du. "You can take it and distribute it to the victims' families. Miss Pei, on behalf of the families of those who died in vain, thank you." Officer Du took the talisman sincerely and saluted her. Pei Anzu returned to Baikahu community and thought about what to do next. When she was in Panchinj Mountain, she felt that the educational resources there were too backward, and she wanted to do something to change the current situation there. She now has some wealth and is no longer as poor as when she first came here. The so-called master can help the world, and she is definitely not just talking about her meritorious deeds. Sponsoring 3 girls to go to school is just the beginning. But Pei Anzu also knew in her heart that no matter how much money she had, she would not be able to support all the children in the mountains, because this would only treat the symptoms but not the root cause. The most fundamental solution is to repair transportation, strengthen the connection between mountainous areas and the outside world, and reduce the time cost of children in mountainous areas spending away from home to study. On this basis, she built schools and donated teaching materials, and then she slowly ignited a spark of knowledge there. Pei Anzu is alone, so she can't do much. If she had been in the world of cultivation in the past, she could have waited until her cultivation level improved, took the meteorite iron knife in her danshan, ran to Panchinj Mountain, slashed it with the knife, and opened the way directly. But this is not the world of cultivation. She has to follow the rules of this world. Even if she needs to build a road, she has to follow normal procedures, so she needs connections. Thinking of this, the names of 2 people flashed in her mind, Shen Qinghe and Qin Mingxiu. At present, it seems that the heads of the 2 families have a friendly attitude towards her, and they are vaguely flattery. As long as it is an idea she proposes, these 2 families probably will not reject it. What's more, the Shen family needs a lot of merit to raise a family immortal. In order to accumulate blessings for their daughter Qin Xiao for the rest of her life, the Qin family will not miss any opportunity to accumulate merit. Thinking of this, Pei Anzu directly sent a message to Shen and Qin explaining the matter. Sure enough, the 2 of them responded positively. Shen Qinghe also immediately finalized the plan to meet and discuss in detail, and Qin Mingxiu naturally agreed with both hands. Being able to accumulate merit with a capable master is a great opportunity that many people cannot ask for. No one is stupid enough to extrapolate. The place where the 3 of them met was set at the house where Pei Anzu lived in Baikahu community. This place is spacious, safe, and has good privacy. There will be no random monitoring or snooping, so you can talk with confidence. At the appointed time, they both arrived and got on the elevator together. In fact, even Shen Qinghe and Qin Mingxiu have never thought that the two bosses of a large group, who usually have a lot of things to do, suddenly one day abandoned their work just to meet a young man in his early 20s. Girl. If this scene fell into the eyes of uninformed people, some unbelievable pornographic news would be compiled to throw dirty water on the little girl. But only they know that this is not a simple young girl. This is a powerful master who can catch the fox demon with his bare hands and beat the ghost king with one hand. Pei Anzu welcomed the two bosses in and made them tea. The three of them sat in the living room and started chatting. She didn't waste any time and went straight to the point. Thank you Mr. Shen and Mr. Qin for your trust. Things like donating money to build roads in mountainous areas are nothing compared to the multi-million projects you have in your hands, and they are not even worth a trip in person. I know that both of you came here personally because of my face, so I won't let you suffer. After saying this, Pei Anzu handed the two of them a document and continued. This is a simple plan I wrote yesterday. It is a bit immature. Please correct me. Although this document is said to be a simple plan, it is actually just Pei Anzu's rough idea. She has no experience in this area, so all she can do is put forward a rough idea and see if Shen and Qin can complete it for her, and finally form a feasible plan. After all, professional things need to be done by more professional people. Shen Qinghe and Qin Mingxiu are indeed veterans in the business world. After reading this idea, they expressed their opinions one by one. It takes too long to build roads in mountainous areas. By the time the roads are built, children of appropriate age have already missed the best time to study. My suggestion is that we can first set up boarding literacy schools in mountain villages, bring school-age children from several villages together to teach them, let them adapt to the learning environment in advance, and popularize the most basic education, and then talk about road construction. The above are Shen Qinghe's suggestions. Qin Mingxiu nodded in agreement and added, road construction planning in mountainous areas is a bit troublesome, and preliminary preparations such as surveying take a long time. What Mr. Shen said is indeed reasonable. In addition, we can implement work for wage due to inconvenient transportation. Villagers in the mountains rarely go out to work, they basically work in agriculture, so their family income is relatively single. Therefore, when building roads, we can give priority to hiring people in the village to join. On the one hand, it can increase the source of income for the local area, and on the other hand, it can also mobilize their enthusiasm. After talking and talking, they finally came to the conclusion. The idea is good and the concept is feasible, but the plan needs to be refined. The most important thing is that we need to send people to the Panchinj mountain area for on-the-spot investigation first, and we need to contact the local government departments and so on. But the boarding literacy school in the mountainous area mentioned by Shen Qinghe can be built first. Pei Anzu has always been good at listening to other people's opinions with an open mind. Since the two business tycoons feel that this matter cannot be rushed, they can only take it step by step. Shen Qinghe also understood what kind of person Pei Anzu was. Seeing that she was not angry because he temporarily denied her idea, he tried to speak. Master Pei, I have a heartfelt request. What's the matter? Pei Anzu asked. Shen Qinghe thought for a moment and said, I have a son and a daughter. As you know, they have just graduated from college and are in the transition stage from student days to society. My son has been trained as an heir since he was a child. After graduation, he has joined his own company and started working at the grassroots level. However, my daughter Shen Yuan is not interested in doing business, but she has never been able to find what she should do. I was wondering if she could follow up on this project to build a literacy school in the Panchinj mountainous area and study with you. What this means is that the Shen family will invest in the Panchinj mountainous area project, and the person in charge is Shen Yuan. Pei Anzu nodded immediately. Of course, I will talk about it even if you don't mention it. This project of mine is too small to deserve your hands-on involvement in everything. I was originally thinking that I could just ask you to send a few trustworthy people to cooperate with me. It would be better if Miss Shen came in person. As soon as Qin Mingxiu heard this, he immediately joined in. Then let Xiao come with me. She is my only daughter, and she happens to be in Panjinj now. With her working there first, subsequent matters will be much easier. The Qin family has a mine in Panjinj and has already cooperated with the local government departments. Now they just want to open one more project, so it must not be too difficult. Pei Anzu naturally would not refuse. To be honest, although she is not afraid of getting along with these business leaders, she is always worried about involving too many interests and causes. If people of the same age cooperate, it will be easier to talk to each other. Things were settled like that. After Shen King he left with Qin Mingxiu, he immediately told his wife and children about the matter at home, and got their unanimous approval. Qin Xiao didn't mention it anymore. She had seen Pei Anzu's ability with her own eyes. The 300-year-old ghost king just accepted it and saved her life. Now that you have the opportunity to cooperate with Master Pei, why don't you seize the opportunity? As for Shen Yuan, she has long been fascinated by Master Pei. It all started when Pei Anzu got a talking fairy for the Shen family. Girls always like furry animals. When Shen Yuan came home, she found that there was a talking fox fairy in her home. She couldn't put it down and admired Master Pei, who could subdue the fox fairy. Under her persuasion, the family had already told Pei Anzu the process of subduing the fox fairy several times. She was so excited to hear it that she wanted to see the idol right away. Unfortunately, under the control of her parents, she was afraid of disturbing the master, so she kept restraining her desires. Now, the opportunity to cooperate with Master Pei has come to her door. No one can stop her from posting with Master Pei. In order to get closer to Master Pei as quickly as possible, Shen Yuan bought the house opposite Pei Anzu in Baikahu community with a wave of his hand and moved there on the same day. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 133. At night, Pei Anzu was drawing talismans in the house. She still hasn't forgotten that she once promised the live broadcast room viewers that she would open an online store to sell talismans so that more people can get help in an easier way. The more people I know now, the busier I am. There are many things that are not convenient to do in the Pei family, so they can only be done in their own private space. At this moment, the doorbell rang. Pei Anzu heard the voice and was confused at first. Who would come to see her so late at night? After all, few people know that she lives here, and she doesn't have many friends in Yunchinj who are well enough to come to her home directly to find her. Soon, she stretched out her hand to do some calculations, with a smile on her face. The door was opened, and standing outside was a young girl of about 23 years old, with a warm smile on her face, holding a furry pet in her left hand, and carrying a lot of things in her right hand. From a visual inspection, there are milk tea, barbecue, fruits, etc. When the young girl saw Pei Anzu, she immediately grinned and said hello. Hello, King's Fairy Lord, my name is Shen Yuan. My dad asked me to work with you on the project to support education in Panjinj mountainous area. I live across from you now and am your neighbor. Please give me more advice in the future. After saying this, Shen Yuan bowed. Perhaps the thing in her hand was too heavy. When she bowed, the furry pet lying on her left arm jumped onto Pei Anzu's shoulder, and spoke. Xianjun, long time no see. This pet is none other than the Shen family's fairy, the fox fairy Xian. After saying hello, Qian lay on Pei Anzu's shoulder, squinting his eyes comfortably and lazily closing his eyes to rest. It discovered last time that the aura on Pei Anzu's body made it very comfortable, and now it has been verified again. The closer it is to her, the smoother its cultivation will run. Shen Yuan looked at the scene in astonishment and became a little anxious. She was afraid that the little fox would displease the king's immortal lord, so she immediately scolded. Xiaohong, come back here. What he got was a pair of white eyes from Qi Yan and a laugh that couldn't help but from Pei Anzu. Shen Yuan blushed for a moment, but then heard Pei Anzu explain. It was called this name after all. When I made the contract between it and your family, I named it Xiaohong, but it rejected it. Shen Yuan immediately said proudly. I picked it up, it's red and looks so pretty and festive, it's just right to call it Xiaohong. Come in. Pei Anzu asked the other party to come in, and then said, but you come to me to talk about a project and you bring so many things. Hey, I'm not here to talk about the project today, I'm here to listen to stories. Shen Yuan smiled flatteringly. I have been interested in these things about spirits and ghosts since I was a child, but many things can only be seen in books. Now that I finally have real-life material around me, how could I miss the opportunity? Listen to stories, where can I get them? It's best to chat while eating. No, there are skewers and milk tea, which are the best companions for night talk by candlelight. Shen Yuan is a girl who has lived in an upright and favored environment since she was a child. She has a lively and cheerful personality and an innocent and kind mind. She uses herself to judge others, and feels that there is nothing that a good meal cannot solve between girls of the same age. She likes to eat, and Master Pei probably likes it too, so she brought these things. At the end, she specially emphasized. I've almost eaten all over Yunchinj, and there is no better skewers than this one, trust me, you'll fall in love with it after you try it once. After saying this, she walked to the living room of Pei Anzu's house and placed the food in her hands on the coffee table. In an instant, the originally empty coffee table was full, and the living room was filled with the aroma of food, penetrating their noses and stimulating their taste buds. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 134. The two girls are about the same age, and both have just graduated from college. Similar in age, the distance between the two has become much closer. Shen Yuan has an open attitude, and his communication with Pei Anzu does not involve the slightest interest. It is like two friends who hit it off, chatting about the strange world. Pei Anzu saw from his face that Shen Yuan was a person with a pure and kind mind. She was happy to get along with Shen Yuan, so she told him stories about some of her past experiences, excluding those that could not be told. It's just that she really doesn't have any talent for telling stories. The twists and turns in others' eyes are just a wave of her hand to her, so she tells them almost without any trouble. But even so, Shen Yuan still listened with interest. Until midnight, the food on the table ran out. The two of them had eaten and drank enough, and it was already getting late. Shen Yuan reluctantly left, and agreed to come back to her tomorrow. Shen Yuan went back to the opposite door to rest. Pei Anzu didn't feel sleepy at all. After all, she didn't need to sleep, so she took out the paper, pen, and cinnabar and continued to draw the talisman. At the same time, she also placed the bracelet given by the old lady of the Feng family next to her. When drawing the talisman, she does not need to consume her own merit or the spiritual energy stored in the Danshan meridians, but uses the spiritual energy in the bracelet. This can not only improve the utilization of spiritual energy, avoid waste, but also help with cultivation. This goes on all night until daylight comes. When the doorbell rang again, Pei Anzu realized that the whole night had passed and Shen Yuan came to see her again. Dang 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 dang, Shen Yuan shook 2 bags of things. I had someone deliver them this morning. Xiangju's breakfast is super delicious, you must try it. Pei Anzu couldn't help laughing when he saw this. Mr. Shen asked you to represent the Shen family and cooperate with me, you don't have to do this. Shen Yueran shook his head and said. Having said that, cooperation is cooperation. I am here to make friends. I didn't have any big ambitions before. I was not interested in my family's business and had no other pursuits in life. I could only eat, drink and have fun. I want to be friends with you, so naturally I have to share with you everything that I think is good. No one can resist such straightforward enthusiasm. Especially because this kind of enthusiasm is just right, without being too out of proportion or appearing too pretentious, which makes people like it very much. Pei Anzu accepted Shen Yueran's kindness with a smile and acquiesced to her friend's statement. When she entered this strange world, everyone who knew her identity treated her with respect, for fear of offending her, so she was always alone. But now, she has friends. The two were having breakfast in the living room. Shen Yueran looked at Pei Anzu for a long time and said with envy. You must have had a good sleep, right? Your skin is smooth and fair, with no blemishes at all. What kind of skincare products do you use? Pei Anzu paused. Although he was a bit versatile, he still said. I haven't used any skincare products, and I didn't sleep last night either. Shen Yueran. Her eyes widened in shock, and then she found the reason. Do you Suanman people have special physiques, and do you practice some exercises or the like to beautify your skin? You can say that. Pei Anzu nodded. Now that you have moved to the opposite side of me, I will arrange a formation in your bedroom so that when you sleep, you can remove some impurities through breathing. Then your skin it will get better too. Actually, Shen Yueran's skin is already very good. After all, she is a wealthy lady, and the skincare products she uses are extremely expensive, and there are all kinds of customized products, but these things are foreign objects after all, not as good as Pei Anzu's internal breath regulation. As soon as Shen Yueran heard this, she suddenly beamed. Look, here comes the advantage of making friends. If you take out that formation, it will be worth thousands of gold, right? I don't know how many ladies in the circle want it. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 135. After breakfast, Pei Anzu received a WeChat message from Qin Xiao. The above content is to ask Pei Anzu if he is free and if he can have a detailed chat. As soon as Pei Anzu gave her a positive reply, Qin Xiao's video call came in the next second. She greeted Pei Anzu politely. Hi, Master Pei, long time no see. Miss Jean. Pei Anzu nodded at her and smiled. It seems that Miss Jean is doing well recently. I have to thank you for all this, otherwise I would have died a long time ago. Qin Xiao thanked him again, and then explained the purpose of his visit. My dad told me that you want to support education in Panchinj mountain area, and I came here specifically to talk to you today. You're talking about this. At this time, a small head appeared next to Pei Anzu, grinning and waving to her. Hi, Sister Xiao. You ran? Are you there? Qin Xiao was surprised and quickly figured it out. That's right. The Shen family is said to be participating in the education project in the Panchinj mountain area. I didn't expect you to be in charge. As both wealthy daughters of Yunchinj, it is not surprising that Qin Xiao and Shen Yueran would know each other. It's just that Qin Xiao is a few years older, and Qin Xiao is the only daughter of the Qin family. She is involved in the management of the family business to a certain extent. She is not in the same circle as Shen Yueran, so the two know each other, but they are not too familiar. After Qin Xiao figured it out, he said. It's just right that you're here. The three of us will form a group and I'll talk to you all at once. She is an activist. As soon as she finished speaking, she started a group chat and then changed the video to a group chat. The three of them held their mobile phones and had a small meeting for the first time. It was mainly Qin Xiao who spoke, and the other two were responsible for listening. My dad has told me the basic situation of the project to support education in Panchinj mountainous area. Everyone currently agrees that road construction can be postponed and boarding literacy schools in mountainous areas can be built first. But building a school is not something that happens overnight, because after the Yao village kidnapping case was exposed, very close investigations are currently being carried out in various places in the Panchinj mountainous area. The purpose is to prevent the existence of the same Yao village in other places. I think we cannot choose a random location when building a school, so I have sent an assistant and a group of reliable people to follow the police to conduct on-site inspections. And the team I queued up also included employees from relevant local departments in Panchinj. On the one hand, it was for investigation, and on the other hand, it was to use the official help for publicity. But this is only preliminary work, and it is still early to make a final decision. So let me tell you the basic situation here first. The specific results will not come until the police and investigators finish the investigation. Having said so much, in short, there are only 3 words. There is no need to rush. Pei Anzu understood that he had taken it for granted. She has no experience, and the original owner has no relevant memories, so she doesn't know that accomplishing such a thing requires more than just talking. So she nodded towards Qin Xiao and said, "I don't know much about this, so it's all your fault. If there's anything you need me to do, please tell me directly." There's still me," Shen Yuan also nodded, "although I don't understand anything, I can learn." Qin Xiao smiled and said, "Okay, if necessary, I will tell you in the group, and please wait for my good news." The 3 of them held a brief meeting and finalized the rules for this matter. After hanging up the video, Shen Yuan let out a long sigh. "Well, Sister Xiao said it's too early for this project to be implemented, so I'll have to be idle again." Pei Anzu looked at her and said with a thought, "If you are really restless, I have an errand here. I wonder if you are willing to do it?" "What's the matter?" Shen Yuan's eyes lit up. "Be my little assistant." Pei Anzu thought for a while and said, "I want to open an online store selling talismans. The customers are mainly viewers in the live broadcast room and my fans. But I am alone and have to draw talismans. Occasionally I have to go to the scene to exorcise evil spirits and catch ghosts, so I will inevitably be too busy, so." "I'll do it," Shen Yuan agreed immediately without waiting for her to finish her words. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Real Daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 136. Chapter 136 Talisman Shop is online. Shen Yuan is very interested in the position of assistant. She thought that there was nothing to do anyway, so she chose a better day and took action immediately. She took out her phone and called a friend she knew to inquire about the online store. It is not that the younger generation in wealthy circles have started their own business. Through those connections, they can always find someone who knows the business. It only took less than an hour for Shen Yuan to make preparations. A friend sent her a detailed online store management guide. She read the whole article and found that it was not difficult, just complicated. What's more, Pei Anzu has already registered the online store on the Shijing website, and she only needs to be responsible for the follow-up. After getting ready, Shen Yuan took some pen and paper from his house across the street and started working. "Master Pei, tell me what talismans you have and what their functions are. Except for these professional things, I can leave everything else to someone special." Pei Anzu was happy to cooperate when he saw that Shen Yuan not only did not object to this errand, but was very enthusiastic about it. She explained in detail the several kinds of talismans for sale, and taught Shen Yuan how to identify and distinguish them to avoid making mistakes later. After saying this, Pei Anzu said again, "Except for drawing the symbols, I will leave everything else to you. If you have any expenses, remember to give me the consumption record or receipt, and I will reimburse you. No, it's not much money, Shen Yuan said. Hearing this, Pei Anzu shook his head and said with a smile. One code equals one code. I know you are not short of money, but you are a small assistant hired by me. I still have to pay you a salary. How can I let you work at a reduced rate? If it's not too little for you, I'll give you a monthly salary of 5,000 yuan according to the market price, plus other personal benefits. Can you try it for a month first? Shen Yuan is a wealthy person and has no concept of money. For her, 5,000 yuan is just what she spends on having afternoon tea with a few sisters. She didn't expect that this was actually a month's salary for ordinary people, and it was relatively high. For a time, she had some other good feelings about making money, so she nodded and agreed. No problem, I'll take care of it. After the two reached an intention to cooperate, Shen Yuan made a decent employment contract and signed it with Pei Anzu. This made Pei Anzu sigh with emotion. He was worthy of being a child from a businessman's family, and he was very considerate in doing things. Shen Yuan officially became Pei Anzu's employee. On the first day she took office, she placed an order on a shopping platform for a batch of high-quality packaging storage boxes that were waterproof, moisture-proof, fireproof and anti-fall. It was delivered by courier in the same city and it was delivered within an hour. She put a label on the box with the names of various talismans written on it, including but not limited to amulets, peace charms, peach blossom charms, wenchang charms, sleep aids, etc. When she asked Pei Anzu to draw the talisman, she put it directly into the box, so that she could distinguish the talismans from the source and not worry about getting them wrong when shipping in the future. Subsequently, she took photos of different talismans, wrote product details, put them on the shelves one by one in the backend, contacted artists, designed store pages, contacted couriers and negotiated future cooperation, etc. Everything is going on in an orderly manner. After Pei Anzu handed over these things, she didn't have to do anything else except draw talismans. It was so relaxed that her efficiency in drawing talismans improved a lot. While Shen Yuan was doing the preliminary preparations for the online store, Pei Anzu had already increased the storage capacity of talismans to a very considerable number. It took them 3 days to get everything done, and Kingzhu Immortal's talisman shop was officially launched. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 137. The new store has opened, but there are not many customers. After all, not everyone believes in talismans. Shen Yuan proposed a wave of publicity, but Pei Anzu rejected it. I opened this talisman shop not to make a lot of money, but to make it more convenient for the fans and viewers in my live broadcast room. So there's no need to promote it specifically, just tell them directly during the next live broadcast. After hearing this, Shen Yuan said thoughtfully. Then I will go to the Dolphin live broadcasting platform to discuss cooperation. Then I will directly put the store URL of the market website in the live broadcast room. There are many bloggers on live broadcast platforms who specialize in bringing and selling goods. The anchors, platforms and third parties have all worked closely together before. Shen Yuan felt that Pei Anzu could do the same. Pei Anzu didn't worry about this, so he left it all to Shen Yuan. She was only responsible for drawing the talisman. 2 days later, Pei Anzu was thinking about finding a time to broadcast the 6th live broadcast, but he received a call from Zhou Yelan, saying that the preparations for the return banquet were almost complete and asked her when she would go back. Until now, Pei Anzu remembered that such a thing had happened and that he had made an agreement with the Pei family. Ordinary people still need a long time to prepare for a wedding banquet. At least they should send invitations to the invited guests in advance to facilitate them to reserve time. Let alone a wealthy family, in terms of etiquette, they will only be more thoughtful. but the Pei family is an exception. They probably think that Pei Anzu, a daughter who came back from the countryside, is not worthy of their careful preparation. It has only been more than half a month since she returned to the Pei family. In such a short period of time, the banquet has been completed, and we are just waiting for her, the protagonist, to return. When is the return banquet? Pei Anzu asked. The day after tomorrow, Zhou Yelan replied. Don't waste time, it's best to come back early so that I can have someone come over to style you. There are also clothes that need to be tried on. Pei Anzu paused, suddenly remembered something, and asked one more question. Can I know how you plan to announce my identity to the outside world? Isn't it a real daughter? Is that a twin or an adopted daughter? After the words fell, there was endless silence on both ends of the phone. Zhou Yelan suddenly felt her throat tightening, and she spoke slightly nervously. Anzu, it's not that mom doesn't want to recognize you, it's just that Mingzu has been in this industry for more than 20 years. If her identity is suddenly revealed, she may not be able to deal with herself. Pei Anzu understood. The Pei family is afraid of embarrassing Pei Mingzu, so they will not reveal the true and false daughter. As for her, she is a daughter who has never been raised, and she is about to get married, and she is marrying into the Feng family of a top wealthy family. It is a certainty that it will not change because of her status. After all, the Feng family recognizes the horoscope, not the identity. I understand, Pei Anzu said in a calm tone. Since I don't plan to reveal my true daughter's identity, no matter what I wear, I won't embarrass your Pei family, so I won't go back early to avoid causing trouble for each other. Ken. Zhou Yelan wanted to say something else, but as soon as she opened her mouth, she was interrupted by Pei Anzu. Send me the address and I'll be there on time. Don't worry, I won't wear fancy clothes to the banquet. Apart from the fact that it doesn't suit your status as a famous lady, there won't be anything rude about it. After saying this, she hung up the phone. In fact, Pei Anzu can understand the thoughts of the Pei family. The identity of the real and fake daughter is not disclosed, but it does not mean how deeply they love Pei Mingzu. It is nothing more than that the future of her recovered daughter has been determined. She is a tool to exchange benefits from the Feng family, but Pei Mingzu will still be useful in the future. Giving Pei Mingzu the status of a real daughter can also be regarded as giving her a bargaining chip. If the outside world knows that she is just an adopted daughter, even if they want to use her for marriage or other things in the future, I am afraid it will not be enough. Pei Anzu put this incident behind him, then logged into Weibo and posted the time of the next live broadcast under the account of King Zhu Fairy Lord. The day after tomorrow, right after the return banquet held by the Pei family. Concerning the Pei family's banquet, both the Qin family and the Shen family received invitations. Shen Yuan will also go, but she cannot be as casual as Pei Anzu, so she returned home 2 days in advance to prepare for the banquet. In the house in Baiki Lake community, Pei Anzu was found to be alone. She didn't prepare any fancy dress for herself, and she didn't want to waste time on any stunning look. She just went to the mall and bought 3 things. A light green modified cheongsam with plain patterns, dignified, elegant and graceful. A fine jade hosta, without a trace of impurities, translucent and flawless in color. A pair of relatively ordinary white high-heeled sandals, small and exquisite, very comfortable to wear. These 3 things, compared to those of wealthy families who can easily customize them and have high-end luxury brands, they naturally don't need to cost that much, but they are not bad either. The cheongsam costs 3,000 yuan, the hosta costs 25,000 yuan, and the shoes cost 2,000 yuan. The total is only 30,000 yuan. Compared with ordinary people, it is already considered high-end. The day of the Pei family's banquet soon came. Pei Anzu got up early in the morning. After washing, he put on a cheongsam and tied his hair into a bun with a hosta. He did not use any hair ties or hairpins. His black hair was naturally tied behind his head. There are two strands of broken hair hanging slightly on the temples, and the whole person looks lazy and casual, yet elegant. She drove to the address of the Pei family's banquet, Vishui Champs. This is the private manor of the Pei family. It is not particularly large in scale and cannot be compared with the Feng family's house. However, it is about the same size as the 5 houses in ancient times. In the past, a prince or count would have to live in it. Pei Anzu drove her mobility scooter that cost more than 100,000 yuan to the scene. She looked out of place among the luxury cars that cost more than 1 million yuan. The parking boy drove the car to the parking lot, while Pei Anzu walked towards the door. Then, he was stopped. The person at the door asked her to show her invitation, but she didn't, and she was silent for a while. The silence is because the Pei family. This homecoming banquet was nominally held for her, but no one told the receptionist in advance what the real protagonist looked like, and she was kept out. What's more, she has never attended a banquet of a wealthy family and forgot about the invitation letter, but wouldn't the Pei family have thought of it? Or is it that the Pei family did it on purpose, to give her a rebellious attitude? Does the Pei family want to see her stopped and make her realize that in this circle, without family background, she is nothing and can only bow to the Pei family? Once she asks the Pei family for help today and asks the Pei family to take her in, it means that the Pei family's plan has succeeded and she will be inferior to the Pei family. It's not a big deal, but it's disgusting enough. Thinking of this, Pei Anzu smiled sarcastically. The Pei family still underestimated her. She took out her mobile phone and sent a message to Shen Yueran. Within 3 minutes, Shen Yueran came over with Mrs. Shen. Mrs. Shen nodded slightly at her. Miss Pei. To keep Pei Anzu's identity confidential, she did not call her master this time, but the words Miss Pei also made the receptionist at the door stunned. If it was Pei Anzu alone, even if he explained his identity, the greeter might not believe him, but with the Shen family's wife and young lady proving it, he would not dare to say another word. At the Pei family's manor, at the Pei family's banquet, a strange Miss Pei appeared. The greeter knew what the banquet was for, and he immediately thought that the person in front of him might be another daughter of the Pei family who was about to reveal his identity. In an instant, his face turned pale with fright, fearing that Miss Pei would attack him. I'm sorry, Miss Pei, I'm blind and blind. It's okay. Pei Anzu shook his head, and then greeted Mrs. Shen and Shen Yueran. Shen Yueran took her arm and took her into the manor. I've been waiting for you for a long time, and now you're finally here. Thank you for coming to pick me up, Pei Anzu said with a smile. You're welcome, the Pei family can only do such petty things. Shen Yueran's face showed disdain. They are trying to stumbling upon you. Although Shen Yueran is naive and innocent, who among the girls who grew up in a wealthy family has never seen some underhand tactics? She could tell at a glance that the Pei family was doing it on purpose, so she became even more angry. A group of dogs look down upon you and dare to look down on you, but they don't know that they will never be able to reach someone as high as you in their lifetime. I dare to suppress you now, but when I know your identity in the future, I will regret it if I can't protect you. Don't be angry, it's not worth it for them, and I don't care about them. Pei Anzu comforted. We are not from the same place, and we won't have many interactions in the future. Shen Yueran was pouting angrily, but after hearing what Pei Anzu said, she immediately smiled and said, That's it? Let's go, I'll take you to meet my friends. They are all a group of people who have money and nothing to spend it on. If you get to know them, maybe you can get a few more customers in the future. Pei Anzu was a little confused about whether to laugh or cry. What happened to her clients was not a good thing. When Shen Yueran said this, wasn't she really cursing those friends? But she didn't say these words, and was only led by Shen Yueran and integrated into the circle. Shen Yueran's circle of friends is a group of second-generation ancestors who do not need to inherit the family business, but are supported by older brothers and sisters who are responsible for their responsibilities. They can live and eat well just by getting dividends. Most of them are content with the status quo, eating, drinking and having fun, just like Shen Yuan once did. Occasionally they have a little ambition and make some investments and start up businesses, but most of them can't persist. However, this group of people have strong family backgrounds to rely on, and it is not bad to choose to live a comfortable life. Those who can play with Shen Yuan are not bad at heart. Everyone was very enthusiastic about Pei Anzu. They learned that she was the protagonist of today's banquet, but the Pei family deliberately blocked her from the door. Everyone talked about the Pei family and disliked her. Obviously, there is also a chain of contempt among wealthy families, and the Pei family happens to be at the bottom. "What do you do, little sister?" one of the boys named Fu Chong asked. The Fu family is one of the 4 families in the 3 surnames, 4 families and 5 houses. Fu Chong is the direct youngest son of the Fu family. He is truly a young master born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He has deep attainments in eating, drinking, and having fun, and he is very loyal, so his status in this small circle is not low. So as his question came out, everyone else looked at Pei Anzu curiously, waiting for her answer. Even Shen Yuan looked at her. Shen Yuan certainly knew what Pei Anzu did, but she was not sure whether Pei Anzu would expose his identity and abilities at this time. Pei Anzu looked at their faces and determined that they were all friends with no bad intentions and worthy of making friends, so he answered truthfully. "I am a fortune teller, and fortune teller I also occasionally read feng shui and do other business." As soon as these words came out, everyone was silent. After a long time, Fu Chong finally spoke. God stick. For Shen Yuan's sake, he was too embarrassed to directly say that he was a liar. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 138. Chapter 138 Word Test Game. Probably because everyone's expressions were too obvious, Shen Yuan exploded. "What do you mean? Don't believe it? Let me tell you, my sister Pei is very powerful. I advise you not to offend her, otherwise you may be in trouble." "No, little moon, we are just suspicious. Why do we need to curse us like this?" Fu Chong wailed. Shen Yuan's parents called her Xiao Yu, so her friends called her Little Moon. This name is quite cute. Humph. Who told you to doubt Sister Pei? Shen Yuan put her hands on her waist and snorted arrogantly. Pei Anzu smiled, patted her hand gently, and stroked her hand like a cat to calm her down, and then said to the others, "Since I have nothing to do now, why don't we play a game?" "What game?" Fu Chong asked. Others are also a little interested. After all, not everyone can be defended by Shen Yuan like this. They want to see how virtuous and capable this new Miss Pei family is. Pei Anzu thought for a while and said, "To test words, you think of something in your mind that only you know, then use a word to represent it, and write the word down. I can figure out what you are thinking through the word test." As soon as Shen Yuan heard this, he immediately objected. "This is so unfair. Even if you are right, they can deny it. It is what they think, and no one knows whether it is true or not." "Then write this down in advance," Fu Chong suggested. "When the time comes to compare the two, it won't be unfair, right?" "Sure, let's do it," Shen Yuan said and ran to the waiter to ask for paper and pen. There were many guests at the manor. The Pei family of 4 is entertaining guests. Pei Jinchang and Zhou Yelan are hosting their peers, who are either business collaborators or wealthy families that the Pei family cannot afford to offend. Pei Yu and Pei Mingzhu also have their own small circles. Everyone gathered together in 2s and 3s, chatting or talking about things, but few people noticed that in a quiet corner of the garden, a group of second-generation ancestors were playing this game. After all, in the eyes of others, it is very rare for this group of people to attend the banquet obediently. Shen Yuan brought paper and pens and distributed them to everyone. The 8 people in this small circle, including Pei Anzu and Shen Yuan, a total of 10 people, occupied the tables and chairs in the garden pavilion, and it looked very lively. Shen Yuan will not participate in the word test game. She knows what Pei Anzu is capable of. But the second-generation ancestors did not believe in evil. They took the paper and pen one after another and started writing. They covered it with their hands while writing, for fear of being seen by others. After they all finished writing, Shen Yuan asked, "Which of you comes first?" "I'll do it," Fu Chong was the first to respond. As he spoke, he wrote the word money on the paper. "Come on, let's test it." "I don't believe it's so magical." Pei Anzu looked at this word for a while, then looked at his face and said, "It has to do with money. You have recently been doing business with someone, and the other party needs your investment, and the amount is not small. You are hesitating whether to invest. The partner is from the southeast region, and the location with water is Huaicheng. I don't know if what I said is right." Fu Chong looked at Pei Anzu steadily, not sure whether it was right or not. "Oh, I'm so anxious." Su Yu on the side was anxious. As he spoke, he ran to Fu Chong, snatched the note from his hand, opened it and read, "I want 3 million from my brother and ask him whether there are any investment prospects in the building materials business." After reading this, a group of people exploded. "Holy crap, Brother Chong, do you really want to invest in business? Miss Pei's calculations are so accurate. This note doesn't say that the other party is from Huaicheng. Brother Chong, tell me something, is this word test reliable?" Fu Chong looked at Pei Anzu with a strange expression and asked, "Where did you hear about my investment? It can't be true, right? You didn't even tell the good brothers around you about this matter." "Where can I find out?" Pei Anzu smiled. "You use this matter to test me, isn't it, because you are sure that no one will know except yourself? I don't know, are you sure I can't figure it out?" Fu Chong opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he hesitated. "I still don't believe it, please continue to calculate it for others." Su Yu immediately joined in, me. I'm the second one." She wrote the word Joe and looked at Pei Anzu expectantly. In the end, before Pei Anzu could speak, someone else said, "Isn't this too obvious? If Brother Chong writes about money, it must be related to money and investment. If Yu writes about boat, it must be related to boats. Did Uncle Su give you another cruise ship for Yu's birthday? You always like to show off your treasures, are you taking the opportunity to show them off to us again?" As soon as these words came out, they were affirmed by everyone, and everyone felt that it was indeed the case. Unexpectedly, Su Yu glanced at the other party. "No, I don't like showing off gifts anymore, I have a new hobby." Pei Anzu smiled and said, "Are you thinking about a person who is not related to you and doesn't even know you at all, but you have a special feeling for him, with a hint of reserve in your enthusiasm? Are you chasing stars? The person you're chasing has the character Joe in his name, so he can't be the actor Zhu Yanzhou, right?" With a click, Su Yu unfolded the note he had written earlier, and there was a sentence written on it. "I want Zhu Yanzhou's autographed photo." Ah! Everyone was dumbfounded. Can you guess this? "Oh, my new hobby now is chasing stars," Su Yu smiled brightly. "I am a die-hard movie fan of Brother Joe. It's a pity that Brother Joe is basically invisible except for filming, so he can't be seen at all." "You can't even see it after spending money?" Fu Chong was curious. "He doesn't lack resources, how can I spend money?" Su Yu rolled her eyes. "The only way I can support him is to go to the cinema and watch his movies." Two people one after another guessed the information on the note, and everyone's enthusiasm grew higher and higher. So, everyone lined up to play this game. Pei Anzu was also unambiguous. He read the fortune tellers and guessed the words correctly, and he guessed everything they wrote on the paper. They were so shocked that their jaws almost dropped. After a round, Pei Anzu subdued these second-generation ancestors with his own true ability. Sister. You are my only sister. Fu Chong almost knelt down and hugged his thigh. That's awesome, from now on I will be your half-brother. Please give me some advice, my investment should I vote? Aren't you going to ask your brother? Others teased. How can my brother be as awesome as Sister Pei? You must trust Sister Pei, Fu Chong said confidently. Don't invest, the person looking for you is a liar, Pei Anzu said. I suggest you call the police. The other party has defrauded a lot of money. Maybe you can get a bonus if you report the fraudster. Fu Chong immediately regarded Pei Anzu's words as if they were gods. What about me? Su Yu asked expectantly. When can I realize my wish to see Zhu Yanzhou? I can't say when I will meet him, but I should be able to have signed photos soon, Pei Anzu said. I'll tell his agent, Sister Song, and it shouldn't be difficult to get a few signed photos. Su Yu's eyes widened. You know Sister Song? We have met several times. Pei Anzu nodded and sent Sister Song a WeChat message, saying that a friend was a fan of Zhu Yanzhou and wanted some autographed photos. For Pei Anzu, the great benefactor who saved Zhu Yanzhou from coma, Sister Song would naturally not deny her face. After all, she might still ask for her in the future. Sister Song responded immediately, no problem, send me the address and I'll express it to you right away. Pei Anzu showed the information to Su Yu, and then said, after I get the photo, I will ask Little Moon to hand it over to you. Soon, the remaining people also asked Pei Anzu to help them realize their wishes. The group of people were chatting and laughing very lively. After Pei Anzu showed a few more skills, they were already frightened and convinced, and they called her Little Fairy one by one. At this moment, brothers and sisters Pei Yu and Pei Mingzhu came. As soon as he saw Pei Anzu, Pei Mingzhu said, Anzu, it turns out you are here. I have been looking for you for a long time. Mom thought you hadn't arrived yet and was still waiting for you at the door. With this opening, a big hat was put down, saying that Pei Anzu didn't know the etiquette. He didn't say hello to his elders when he came, and he had to wait for them. Pei Anzu sighed. She knew that Pei Mingzhu's behavior was just to ruin her image in front of these second-generation ancestors. Only by cutting off the opportunity for her to communicate with the daughter of another family's young master, the Pei family can better control her. It's a pity that they arrived late. Pei Anzu had already subdued this group of people. Fu Chong glanced at Pei Mingzhu, stood up and was about to leave. What's the smell? It's too strong, I don't like tea, let's play somewhere else, can you leave? This means that it is almost as clear as saying that Pei Mingzhu is too teasing. Pei Mingzhu's face turned blue and white, and his eyes suddenly turned red. He could only watch Fu Chong and Shen Yuan lead the others away. Soon, only 3 members of the Pei family were left in the same place, and then Pei Yu spoke. You should stop associating with that group of people, they are all a bunch of uneducated and unskilled dandies, they act recklessly because of their background, if you get too close to them, it will bring bad reputation to the Pei family. It's okay to just listen to this. Pei Anzu didn't agree and just asked. Looking for me? Pei Yu was choked and could only reply. The guests have almost arrived, and the people from the Feng family have also arrived. Dad asked me to call you over. I will announce in front of everyone that you and Mingzhu are twins. Don't feel unconvinced, Mingzhu has been in the Pei family for so long, whether or not Mingzhu is his biological child is no longer important, so I hope you can understand. The meaning of this is to tell her not to cause trouble, to accept the arrangements of the Pei family, and not to try to compete with Pei Mingzhu for status. Pei Anzu found it funny. Why are there always people in this world who judge a gentleman with a villain's heart? A group of people in the Pei family who put their interests first felt that she also valued these false reputations and that she really took herself too seriously. Summer insects can't talk about ice. Pei Anzu gave him a cold look, turned around and left. Soon, The three of them arrived at the gathering place, met with Pei Chang and Zhou Yelan, and started the theme of today's return banquet. So, within half an hour, everyone present knew two things. First, the Pei family has a daughter who has been living outside since she was a child. She is twins with Pei Mingzhu and has just been found recently. Second, the Pei family is getting married to the Feng family. The Pei family's newly recognized daughter is going to marry the Feng family's son, Feng Jinglan, who has been in a vegetative state for 3 years. For a time, everyone couldn't help but sigh. I don't know if I am lamenting Pei Anzu's miserable life, or lamenting that the Pei family married their daughter to a vegetative person who could not wake up for the sake of profit. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 139. Although it is a homecoming banquet for the daughter of the Pei family, in the final analysis, it is just an opportunity for people in the circle to expand their connections in an open and honest manner. After the Pei family announced the official business, the banquet began. Guests holding wine glasses walked around the manor, looking for the connections they wanted to make, and using their skills to bring benefits to themselves. Today's protagonist Pei Anzu has long been forgotten. It is just a tool that has returned from the countryside and is destined to marry into the vegetative state of the Feng family. It has no use value and is not worthy of attention. This actually made Pei Anzu breathe a sigh of relief. She doesn't want to deal with this kind of ineffective social interaction. After all, in her opinion, these people are not worthy of her to fawn over. As long as they encounter trouble, they will come to her for help. The skills she learned in the world of cultivation are the foundation of her career. After rejecting Pei Mingzhu's proposal to get to know other rich ladies, Pei Anzu decided to find Shen Yueran. It would be easier to stay with those second-generation ancestors. But at this moment, she met a man on the covered bridge in the back garden of the villa. This man is about 25 or 6 years old. He looks very young. Judging from his clothes, he does not look like a collaborator under the Pei family. Instead, he looks like a young man from a top wealthy family. Looking at his face, we found that the top of his head was shrouded in purple energy, and his fortune was sky high. This is the imperial purple energy. Such a person was either the king of a country in his previous life, and he also has the appearance of a hidden dragon in this life. His fate is extremely precious. However, within the purple air, there are strands of black air entwined. The black air is like a tiny snake, lingering on the purple air, eating away at the purple air bit by bit. That black energy is not yin energy, not resentment, not evil spirit, it is not even something that should appear in this technologically advanced modern society. Because it is demonic energy. It is normal for demon cultivators to exist in the world of cultivation. Some are born with demons, and some become demons later in life. Pei Anzu has seen a lot of people in the past. This group of people are bloodthirsty and cruel. They regard human life as nothing, and they will do anything to practice evil skills. We, the righteous monks, will be punished by everyone if they find them. But this is a modern society, how can there be evil spirits? Who is this guy? Where did the demonic energy in him come from? Does he know he has demonic energy? Countless questions emerged in Pei Anzu's mind. Perhaps Pei Anzu's gaze was too focused, and the young man on the covered bridge noticed it. He turned around and stared at Pei Anzu, and said, "The young lady that the Pei family just recognized." I am Pei Anzu nodded and said with the intention of inquiring, "I didn't seem to see you at the previous party just now." Hearing this, the man smiled. I deliberately avoided them. If I let them see me, they would swarm around me like flies and promote their projects to me. Although the Feng family may be rich, it's not because of strong winds. How can I have the time to listen to their bragging? If we really want to cooperate, we have to go through formal procedures. He mentioned Feng Jia. Pei Anzu thought of the Feng family population that Zhou Yelan once talked to her about. In addition to the old lady whom I have already met, there are the head of the family Feng Shenghua, his wife Yao Fangling, the eldest young master Feng Jinglan, the second young master Feng Jinggrun, and the rich young lady Feng Yiyi. Judging from the gender and age of the person in front of me, it should be Feng Jinggrun. It turns out to be the second young master of the Feng family. Pei Anzu nodded slightly. I didn't expect that the second young master of the Feng family came in person for the Pei family's return banquet. I didn't recognize him just now, so I was rude. Feng Jinggrun looked like a humble gentleman and smiled like a spring breeze. It's okay, I didn't identify myself. But you don't have to be so polite to me. Soon, we will be a family, right, future sister-in-law? Pei Anzu fell silent. She didn't expect that the second young master of the Feng family would have such a personality. It was not at all in line with the image of the heir to a wealthy family that she imagined. It's just a joke, don't mind. Feng Jinggrun smiled again. Miss Pei, my brother is in a terrible fate. I don't know when he will wake up and ask you to marry her. I have wronged you. In the future, in the Feng family, if you need any help, feel free to come to me. Thank you. Pei Anzu nodded. Then I'll take my leave first. After Feng Jinggrun finished speaking, he turned and left. Pei Anzu looked at his leaving figure with a deep look in her eyes. She did not mention the evil spirit, nor did she rush up to help him get rid of it. After all, she knows people but not their hearts, and she doesn't want to be rash and expose herself. But she thinks the Feng family is a bit interesting. The mountain of the Feng family is a spiritual mountain and a holy place for countless cultivators, but the body of the Feng family has evil energy hidden in it. It seems that the Feng family has many secrets. Pei Anzu kept this matter in her heart. Anyway, when she went to the Feng family mountain, she would have plenty of opportunities to find out what was going on. Shen Yuran came over just at this time, and she went to Fuchang's small circle again. With everyone's admiring eyes, she gave each of them a free fortune-telling. Later, everyone also added WeChat and said they would keep in touch in the future. Fuchang even solicited everyone's opinions and directly pulled Pei Anzu into their private WeChat group. Every move showed their welcome to Pei Anzu. Stayed until the banquet was over and all the guests left. Pei Anzu didn't want to have too much contact with the Pei family, so he said hello and left. She was going back to Baikahua community, and Shen Yuran was walking with her, so he got into her car. This scene was seen by Pei Mingzu, and she was suspicious. Since when did Pei Anzu have such a good relationship with the lady of the Shen family? But it doesn't matter, Shen Yuran is a loser who can't inherit the family business, and has no say in the Shen family. Even if Pei Anzu befriends her, it won't pose any threat to him. Thinking of this, Pei Mingzu felt a little relieved. The matter of the real and fake daughter of the Pei family is not completely airtight. Even if the Pei family claims to the outside world that Pei Anzu and Pei Mingzu are fraternal twins, there are still many well-informed people who know the truth. But for many wealthy families, the truth is not important. It is more important who the Pei family values. Judging from this return banquet, Pei Anzu is undoubtedly the one who was given up by the Pei family. They can push her out to marry a vegetable. How much can they value her? Those who have thought through this level do not feel the need to deal with Pei Anzu. Therefore, Pei Anzu's life was no different from before, except that the Pei family asked her to listen to the notice, and when the time was right, the Feng family would send someone to pick her up. After the return banquet, the sixth live broadcast soon came. According to the predicted time, at 9 o'clock in the morning, Pei Anzu put on the Neo God mask, opened the Dolphin live broadcast room on time, and started a new live broadcast. I just like King Zhuxianjun's punctuality. 5 live broadcasts for old fans to check in. King Zion Jun Fan Group, 3498, verify and join the group. Let's call for King Zion Jun. The Kingzu immortal lord, who is kind-hearted, punishes and eradicates evil, and has boundless magical power. The Kingzu immortal lord, who is kind-hearted, punishes and eradicates evil, and has boundless magical power. The immortal Kingzu, a beautiful person with a kind heart. Slogans were shouted on the screen, and they were all full of praise for Pei Anzu. The fans were enthusiastic, just like the followers of the Xingqiu Laoxian. Pei Anzu couldn't laugh or cry when he saw this scene, so he could only stop him with words. Stop doing this. In your battle, unsuspecting people came in and thought I was running a cult. What if you report me? The barrage stopped and everyone started chatting with her again, waiting for the destined person to arrive. At this time, Shen Yueran came in holding a laptop. She gestured to Pei Anzu and sat opposite her. Pei Anzu thought of the online store and said, "By the way, before the lucky ones come, I'll tell you the good news. My online store for talismans is ready to be officially launched. I have put the store link below the live broadcast room. If you need it, you can go in and take a look. They are all talismans suitable for the general public. You can buy them as needed. Although the prices are not expensive, there is no need to stock up on them. Just buy them again if they are damaged or expired." While saying this, Shen Yueran was operating in the background and hung up the link. The audience in the live broadcast room immediately cheered. "Great, the online store that I have been waiting for so long is finally here. I want to buy a peach blossom charm. I have been single for 27 years and I am really scared of being urged to get married. Instead of going on a blind date with those crooked melons and dates, I would rather meet one myself. I want to buy learning charms. My eldest son is in the 3rd year of high school and my younger daughter is in the 3rd year of junior high school. They are both in need. Wow, your 2 children upstairs are both in critical stages, and you still have time to watch the live broadcast. Is there anything that can prevent hair loss? The programmer can't afford to be hurt anymore, woo woo. Health talisman is recommended. Although it is not specifically designed to cure hair loss, it should be able to be alleviated if you are healthy, right? At all members, I am King Zion Jun's assistant Little Moon, and I am also the current store manager and customer service of the online store. If you want to buy amulets, please contact me. I highly recommend it, and I am the best. V number, 177. Shen Yueran also sneaked into the live broadcast room and registered a WeChat work account for herself. She plans to add all customers to this account, so that in the future, when people sell talismans, they can also place orders directly on WeChat, which is more convenient than using commercial websites. After Pei Anzu confirmed the identity of Little Moon, Shen Yueran's WeChat friends suddenly increased. Those netizens with fast hands have already clicked on the link and went to the website to place an order. Talismans are not expensive, only about 10 or 20 yuan. Someone placed an order for each item and collected a full set of talismans in a spree. However, some people were hesitant about which talismans they wanted to buy, so they consulted Pei Anzu about whether there would be conflicts if they bought too many talismans. Of course, Pei Anzu patiently answered them and introduced the functions of the talisman in detail. Shen Yueran was very busy opposite. On the online store platform, many people also asked about talismans, or asked about shipping, storage, and other issues. She typed quickly on the computer keyboard with both hands. As time passed by, Pei Anzu consumed 1/3 of the talismans he had stored up some time ago in just over an hour. You know, from the time she planned to open an online store to the time it was officially launched, she spent tens of thousands of talismans, but she actually sold more than 3,000 of them so quickly. And this is just the beginning. As it approached 11 o'clock, the familiar special effects of a sea view villa appeared on the screen, and today's destined person appeared in the live broadcast room. The nickname of a destined person is "I steal pigs to feed you." After he rewarded the Seaview Villa, he directly clicked on the video link, and a young face appeared, a young boy in his early 20s. He is very handsome. Even wearing a simple white t-shirt and a short-cut haircut cannot conceal his youthfulness and flamboyance. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 140. Chapter 140, the sixth live broadcast. When the audience in the live broadcast room saw him, their first reaction was, "This boy is so handsome." One by one, he started licking the screen, and soon an acquaintance came out to learn about his identity. Isn't this the school lord of Songchengpi University? The campus male god, a man of the hour. I stole pigs to feed you. When someone in the live broadcast room recognized his identity, he couldn't help but be stunned and randomly smiled bitterly. The school idol is just a false name. I would rather not have these titles now. The audience felt that he was in Versailles. But after Pei Anzu saw his face, he knew that what he just said was sincere. This "I stole pigs to raise you, because of this handsome face," has attracted a lot of peach blossoms since he was a child. The latest one is a rotten peach blossom. So Pei Anzu took the initiative and said, "You came to me for emotional reasons, right? I stole pigs to feed you." He paused slightly, his face showed joy, and he nodded immediately. "That's right, King Zhu, immortal lord, is truly a god. It's really because of my feelings recently. Many of the girls around me have been acting inappropriately. I really have no choice but to deal with them, and the girl I like has also been hurt because of this." The audience in the live broadcast room heard these words and joked one after another. "Is it all the fault of this face? Ha ha ha, is this the trouble of being too handsome? There's something wrong with the girl. It must be that those girls are fighting over you, which is not in line with their usual gentle and kind image in front of you, right? Envy, when can I catch up with the goddess? I can die under the peonies and be a ghost, but if I have so many suitors, I can die in peace." Most of the audience is watching a show. Before the real problem is exposed, most people will not have empathy. They will only watch the fun. "I stole pigs to feed you." Seeing the barrage, he sighed. If only it were that simple. Pei Anzu comforted him and said, "It doesn't matter. What you encountered is not a big deal. From what I see, your life is not in danger. It's just that you had a peach blossom disaster recently. Are you willing to tell me the specifics? Let me see if I can give you a talisman directly or come to Songcheng." The handsome boy nodded and told what happened to him in the presence of hundreds of thousands of viewers in the entire live broadcast room. The boy's name is Zhou Jiyi. He is studying at P University in Songcheng and is currently a senior. But his true identity is the young master of Songcheng Zhou Group, the kind who will inherit the family business in the future. Zhou Jiyi is like this, so he is the school idol, a male god, and a big influencer. There are many suitors around him, including pretty schoolgirls, cool schoolgirls, young secretaries in the company, etc., all of whom have a crush on him. But Zhou Jiyi is a clear-minded person. His crush has always been the girl from the Zhou family who grew up with him, Zhou Jiyi. The fate of these two people comes from the pronunciation of their names. Zhou Jiyi, Zhou Jiyi. Childhood sweethearts, well matched, and Zhou Jiyi is a beautiful and lovable girl. It is difficult for Zhou Jiyi not to be tempted. Their relationship has always been natural, and their parents have approved of their relationship. They studied together, took college entrance examinations together, and finally officially got together 3 months ago. Originally, the two of them had agreed to get married after graduation. But Zhou Jiyi is a senior and he is busy interning in his own company. He has less time in school and spends less time with Zhou Jiyi. Hence, other girls have more opportunities to get close to him. It was not that no one had confessed to Zhou Jiyi before, but after Zhou Jiyi made it clear that she refused, those girls stopped stalking her. But this time it's different. The first person to get entangled was another intern from Joe's company, who was in the same department as Jo Ji-yi. This girl's name is Jang Duo. On the first day she entered the company, she confessed to Jo Ji-yi that she came specifically for him and that they should be together in this life. After being rejected, this girl did not give up. Instead, she created chance encounters over and over again, created a series of coincidences, and kept establishing her presence in front of Jo Ji-yi. When Jo Ji-yi went to have a meal, she became a waiter there in advance and waited. When Jo Ji-yi went to the club to discuss business, she became the waitress there in advance. She was taken advantage of by the drunk guests and tried to let Jo Ji-yi save her beauty. In short, no matter where Jo Ji-yi goes, he can see this girl. You could say that she was following her, but she went there first. You could say it was a coincidence, but we met each other every time. It was as if she knew Jo Ji-yi's itinerary well and had made preparations in advance. But Jo Ji-yi's itinerary has always been kept secret. No one knows it except the secretary around him, and the secretary definitely has no possibility of betraying him for no reason. Jo Ji-yi was so annoyed that he fired Jang Duo. He thought he would be freed this way, but who knew that the second girl would get involved again. The second girl's name is Chen Miao Miao. She is the sister of the person in charge of a partner of the Jo group. She followed her brother to meet Jo Ji-yi, and it was love at first sight and she married him. She used her status and in the name of her brother to invite Jo Ji-yi out for dinner every 3 days. Once or twice, Jo Ji-yi would go to the appointment for the sake of his collaborators, but as the number of times increased, he could see that Chen Miao Miao was not interested in drinking, so he stopped going. However, Chen Miao Miao did not know how to get the responsibility for the cooperation case from her brother, and went to the Jo group to find him openly. Under the guise of work, he actually pursued Jo Ji-yi, which was extremely crazy. Jo Ji-yi had refused, but she wouldn't listen, and because of his status, it was impossible for him to completely ignore her like he did with Jang Duo. Later, Jo Ji-yi was so entangled that he had no choice but to hand over the case, which was enough to get him a promotion and salary increase, to other people in the same department, thus avoiding Chen Miao Miao's entanglement. But things are not over yet, because the third girl appears. Her name is Fang Keek. She is the daughter of a good friend of Joe's father many years ago. It is said that she grew up abroad and this time she wants to return to China for development. Since all the Fang family members were abroad, Fang had no relatives at home, so he moved into the Jo family under the guise of being the daughter of a family friend, and his entanglement with Jo Ji-yi began. She went to the company to deliver food to Jo Ji-yi, saying that she cooked it at home, which made everyone in the company think she was Jo Ji-yi's wife. When Jo Ji-yi was not free, she went to school to participate in some activities and ceremonies, claiming that she was here for Jo Ji-yi. What's more, when she learned that Jo Ji-yi had a real girlfriend, she went to meet Zo Ji-yi and vowed that Jo Ji-yi loved her, so that Zo Ji-yi would quit. Of course Zo Ji-yi refused, but Fang Keek told many secrets that only Jo Ji-yi and Zo Ji-yi knew, and provoked. "Do you think you are special in brother Ji-yi's heart?" He turned around and told me all your secrets as a joke. This move directly dealt a heavy blow to Zo Ji-yi. There are some things that only she and Jo Ji-yi know. If Jo Ji-yi hadn't told them, how could Fang Keek know so much? So, Zo Ji-yi thought that Jo Ji-yi had betrayed her, and she was in a daze and got into a car accident and went to the hospital. Only then did Jo Ji-yi know what Fang Keek had done. Jo Ji-yi wanted to clear up the misunderstanding, but he really couldn't explain why the exclusive secret was known to an outsider. He couldn't explain it. So, he went to talk to Fang Keek, trying to make the other party retreat from the difficulties by being emotional and rational. Unexpectedly, Fang Keek not only refused to listen, but also got worse. Taking advantage of the fact that she was living in Joe's house, she secretly entered Jo Ji-yi's bedroom, wore his clothes, and slept in his bed. He was also deliberately seen by Joe's parents several times to misunderstand everyone. Zhou Jiyi had no choice but to install surveillance cameras at home. He wanted to use surveillance to prove that he had nothing to do with Fang Keek and that everything was directed and performed by Fang Keek. He wanted to save Zhou Jiyi in this way, but unexpectedly, while monitoring Fang Keek, he discovered a terrible thing. I saw her talking to herself in the air, saying some inexplicable words. Sometimes she went crazy and said she wanted to kill Jiyi, and sometimes she said I could only be hers in this life. I think she is a very evil person, and there must be unclean things around her. Not just her, but Zhang Duoduo and Chen Miao Miao also have many strange things about them. Otherwise, how could they know exactly where I am going every time? King Zhu, immortal lord, is this matter difficult to handle? After telling the whole story, Zhou Jiyi raised his head and looked at Pei Anzu, his eyes full of expectation. The viewers in the live broadcast room were already shocked by the story and expressed their opinions on the barrage. Is this the daily life of a male god? The girl next to me has never stopped. You are handsome and rich, so you deserve to be popular. I am tired of using the word envy. Such a handsome and rich man is so affectionate that he doesn't want any woman who comes to his door. Zhou Jiyi saved the galaxy in her last life, right? In which direction can I kowtow to find such a man? I hope to meet one before menopause, I'm not kidding. I no longer expect to meet you, I have chosen a sleeping position, hoping to see it in my dreams. Pei Anzu still admires these netizens a little. Zhou Jiyi was haunted by a female ghost, but their focus was on the fact that he was a loving and good man. She sighed and gave Zhou Jiyi a positive reply. This matter is not difficult to handle, but it cannot be solved with a single talisman. If I guess correctly, you should be haunted by a female ghost, and the female ghost following Zhang Duoduo, Chen Miao Miao and Fang Keek should be the same one. She recognizes you, so if you get rid of one person, she will immediately encourage another person to haunt you. There is always a woman you like, no matter how big the world is. Once you waver and choose any one of these women, she will take advantage of it and maybe seize the girl's body and take the opportunity to be with you. Fortunately you didn't waver or give her a chance, otherwise things wouldn't be so simple. End of this chapter.